Okay, question for you. I get this every single time I do, like you said, like a panel at a convention. I get the question that is, how do you deal with hate? Because I'm of the philosophy, you never deal with it, you just come to accept it.
Yeah.
You just learn to just get over it. Like, do you remember how you
know? No, like that's like a very. I feel very passionate about this because I feel like there's no right answer for this, and I feel like the right answer is that we just basically got to check ourselves online and just don't be a fucking dick, right? Because it's unfortunate, right? Because I get this, I get asked the question a lot as well, and every creator I've talked to, there's no solution, right?
Yeah, no.
You just get used to it, right? You just got to ignore it, right? And to me, that's fucking insane because that's not a solution. That's a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But that's the only thing we can do when we have to deal with hate.
Yeah.
I'm sure she won't mind if I share this, but Jessica Neary, really good friend of mine. I asked her this question.
Is that a flex?
Anime flex. I asked this question to her because, when she blew up, she was getting noticed by everybody. But at the same time, when you blow up in that sense, you also gain a lot of haters, unfortunately. That's just how it works, right? And so I remember, I think Aki asked her the question of, how did you get through that? Because we all saw as a third person just how brutal her haters were.
She got a lot of hate.
She got a lot of hate in her prime time, right?
Yeah.
And so Aki asked her, she was like, so how do you like deal with it?
Yeah.
And I think Jessica said it in the most perfect way. And she just said, it's not that you do end up dealing with it, but it never stops hurting.
No, it will.
And I think that just perfectly sums it up. You learn to deal with it, but it never stops hurting. Every time, if you see that one hate comment it just hits you in the worst spot possible.
Yeah.
Like, you'll learn to deal with it because you've seen so many examples of it.
But like, no matter how immune you are, there's always that one comment every so often that comes up that you're just like, that just ruined my whole day. Legit. And I thought I was above this, but you're never above it.
No, you're never.
I'm a person who I'd say I'm not self-conscious about many things. I'd say on average of people I speak to, there's maybe like one or two things I'm self-conscious about.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, they can say whatever they want, but if they hit that one thing that I was worrying about that one day, that shit hurts.
Yeah.
Because I think one story that I've experienced on like a secondhand experience, and I'm sure Sydney's fine with me telling this story, is that she became a meme. Okay. This was back when cringe culture was like at its prime.
Yeah.
So she made a video when she was a kid that was like, it was kind of like a parody of like yanderes and just like the anime weeb kind of girl, but it was to the point when people couldn't tell that it was satire, and
because they don't know the personality.
They don't know the person. She wasn't really a YouTuber back then. She was just a girl on the internet.
A girl who uploaded it.
Yeah, exactly. And then years later, Leafy featured it in a video.
Yeah, I remember.
And that just fucking blew up. Like she became a meme, and I was on YouTube at this point, so I know like the right and wrong things that you can do online. But even seeing it from a secondhand perspective, it was hard, right? Because she'd wake up and she would just get death threats every single day. Like I had to just delete Twitter, delete Facebook, because it got to the point when people from her school were messaging her about it. That's how widespread it was. And like I've never talked about this publicly, but it was fucking hard, right? Because I love Sydney, and like I did not know the right way to deal with it. So what I did was I was like, okay, this is the only way I could make it a bit better. So I wrote like a parody video for her, which is if you've seen Sydney's video called like How to Be Tsundere or something along those lines, where she basically satirizes it. That was my way of trying to help her get out of it, because you know on the internet, if you say something is bad or if you say you're hurting, that's only going to make it 10 times worse. So I tried to deal with it by just trying to make a joke out of it, and to an extent it worked. But to this day, like Sydney still, like sometimes she gets notifications on her Facebook or her Twitter, and it's just it affects her. It never went away.
I bet.
Because we went through like a whole year period where she was just afraid of social media, because she was afraid of opening up a message and then someone new was like mocking her, or someone she knew personally was mocking her. And it's like, this is why I like feel really strongly about this, because I don't feel like there's a right way you can deal with it.
No.
The only way we can deal with it is just to make sure that we as a community, don't act shitty online, and just know that there is a person behind that avatar. And we can, it's so easy to forget a lot of the times, even for us. You see a number, we see our view count, and we're just like, that's just a number. But like behind every number, behind every avatar, there is someone there. And especially with what's been going on online nowadays, you know what I mean, and some of the stuff that's been happening on Twitter and YouTube recently, I think it's super, super important that we as a community try to just act better.
Yeah.
You know? Because there's no way to regulate this. So the only way I can think of is just to promote just acting better and being better online. And
since when did it become so hard for people on the internet to just act like a normal fucking human being?
It's weird because the mentality people have is just strange. Like my old housemate used to do like K-pop dance videos. But like, you know, there'd maybe be like, I don't know, like 20, 30 comments on most videos.
Yeah.
And I remember there was one time when someone said that she looked like chubby in one of the dances.
Right.
And then she replied being like, you know, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then this person replied saying, oh, I never thought you'd see it.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
That's the weird mentality that I think some people have where they think, oh, they're never going to see this. Like, no, we'll see it.
Yeah, we'll see it.
And I think every YouTuber said that time and time again. We see it. But then a part of me is like, is that like a bad thing to say that we're going to see it? Because is that going to make them comment more? I just feel like this is a problem that's never going to have a solution.
No.
Except that just, you know, maybe if we keep repeating the message of, you know, be a little careful. Because like, you know, I'm not going to get mega upset about anything. I might get a little bothered, but I'm going to be fine. But you know, with some of the unfortunate stuff that has happened recently with, you know, a lot of online personalities and, you know, some taking their own life. It's pretty terrifying to think that maybe some of my friends might not be able to handle that. Right. Like,
and that's why, you know, like, I'm sure we can all agree that we all very strongly advocate for mental health among YouTubers. And there's a reason why so many YouTubers do have mental health issues is because of stuff like this.
Because of this, because we were never us, just as human beings, you know, we evolution never taught us how to deal with 50 million people sending you a clown emote.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You don't learn this shit in school,
no,
right?
No.
Like you just have to learn through trial and error. And unfortunately, a lot of the times, some people are just not psychologically equipped to handle a certain amount of hate or a certain amount of you know, backlash or anything like that. And I mean, you know,
do you ever find that we like? Did you ever like do YouTube or like watch YouTube videos to like escape real life? Sometimes,
yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I mean,
but like now, sometimes you feel like you have to switch off Twitter and switch off YouTube and escape that in real life.
Oh yeah.
Like isn't that messed up? It's weird because it's so easy. Just like going back to Satoshi Kon, right? It is totally like getting sucked into another world.
Oh yeah,
right. It is a separate world where you exist in that world. And the best way I can describe getting a lot of hate is I don't know why, but it just feels suffocating.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? You could be sitting in your living room, no one's there, but you could just feel like suffocated, just like with all these comments being like thrown onto you. It's really hard, and there's no right way to deal with it as a person.
Because isn't it interesting that we could, you know, upload a video and it get 200 dislikes, and we think, oh, it's only 200 people.
Yeah.
But if you think about it in real life, that's like walking into a fully packed cinema and all those people just immediately turning to you and saying, fuck you. That's what it feels like. That's what 200 dislikes looks like.
Yeah.
And it's so weird how so many YouTubers are just kind of numb to that now.